Today, I'm going to talk about putting a time limit when making an offer on a home in Texas. The advantage for a buyer is primarily limiting the time for more buyer competition and putting some healthy pressure on a seller to respond to an offer in a reasonable amount of time. I've learned over the years that time kills deals, and the timetable for an offer is no exception. The flip side is that putting a time frame on a response may not work for certain sellers who either don't want to move quickly, can't respond quickly for whatever reason, or for those sellers who decide to take offers over a certain time frame before deciding to take an offer. So maybe the house hits the market on a Tuesday and they can take offers through the following Monday at 5 p.m. This approach is fairly common in a hot market where there's a strong chance for multiple offers. Here in Texas, a buyer or their buyer's agent can rescind an offer they made any time before it's accepted. As a result, sellers and listing agents inherently know there may be a limit to the time in which a buyer is willing to wait for a response. Nonetheless, communicating a preferred response timeframe helps ensure that both the buyer and the seller are able to meet each other's expectations, which can work towards the overall goal of fostering a smooth sale. Writing a time limit as a condition of the contract is not recommended. In certain circumstances, this can be used as a way for a buyer or seller wanting to exit their obligations under a contract to try and discredit the contract. So stating a deadline by email or verbally when submitting an offer is recommended. And as I mentioned, the buyer can rescind the offer at any time before acceptance of the contract is delivered to the buyer. So in the end, whether you decide to put a time frame on the offer depends on your desired approach or negotiating strategy. In my experience, setting an offer response deadline is an effective way to develop a more predictable negotiating process to reach terms in an effective way while reducing the chance for prolonged delays and more competition. But under certain circumstances, it makes more sense to make the offer and patiently await a decision and response. That's something to determine based upon the buyer's level of interest, timing, and motivation, while balancing that with the seller's timing and motivation as well. In other words, sometimes putting that pressure on the seller can work to the buyer's advantage, and other times it may not. And this is something to discuss as a part of the offer strategy with your realtor. I hope this was helpful in making a decision whether to put a time limit on your home offer or counter offer, and best wishes for your purchase or for your sale.